The Marlins avoid getting swept by the New York Mets. They get back in the win column thanks to Max Meyer.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Marlins. I'm your host, Jeremiah Geiger. Go hit me up on X at Jeremiah Geiger2. And thank you for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Make sure you hit subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and share the podcast with your friends as the season goes on. And on today's show, the Marlins get back in the win column. They're back to 500 thanks to the great, spectacular heroics of Max Meyer, who's well on his way to a breakout season. I'm going to talk about the formula of winning that the Marlins have to follow. There's a trend that the Marlins are showing in which they have to follow in order to win ball games. And I'm going to take a look down at the farm system, who are some early standouts from the minor leagues and who is on their way very quickly, possibly, to help Miami and the big league team. That's all coming up on today's show. But the final game of the series, the Marlins had to have it. They were 5-6 coming into this one. It was a matinee, a 1:10 first pitch up in Citi Field, cold temperatures, really an uncomfortable situation for a team from South Florida. You don't necessarily like playing in cold weather. It's just not enjoyable for anybody. And certainly not a team from an area that's way more warm. It's a warm area. They play indoors, and it showed. The first couple games, they really couldn't get anything going, but they needed to have this one. And Max Meyer, he toes the rubber, and he pitches brilliant. 6 1/3 innings, pitches into the 7th, only 82 pitches. He could have gone further, but Clayton McCullough pulls him after 82 pitches, and there was a base runner on, and it was a no-hitter up until that 6th inning. Or was it the 7th? I think it might have been the 7th. No, it was the 6th inning. So he gives up his first base hit, wasn't until the bottom of the 6th, a single to Francisco Lindor. All in all, only 2 hits, 2 walks, struck out 4, and he gets the win up in Citi Field. It was a great outing from a pitcher who is quickly establishing himself as one of the more consistent starters that the Marlins have on their roster and in their organization as a whole. And he is somebody that is really playing his way into being looked at as a potential cornerstone of this pitching staff moving forward. The former 3rd overall pick from 2020 out of Minnesota. So he was used to pitching in cold weather, that's for sure. He's had an underwhelming career so far compared to other top draft picks. You know, this is 5 years later. He underwent Tommy John surgery. He's battled through a lot of adversity to get to where he is now. He had a really rough 2024 in which he started out hot, much like this season, but then was quickly optioned to AAA, and there was never any consistency with him when he did return to the big leagues. So it's awesome to see Meyer just be dominant. The Mets have a really good lineup. They are a stacked team. Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Polar Bear Pete, and he neutralized them. He went out and gave the Marlins an opportunity to win the ball game. When he left, the score was 2-0. And thankfully for the Marlins, they got some much needed insurance runs later in the game in the top of the 9th. Jonah Bride snapped his 0-for streak. I really don't know what it was, but he was undergoing a really, really tough stretch of baseball. He got a base hit, drove in a run, and then Mash and Matt Mervis with a 2-run jack. That put the game out of the reach, and Marlins end up winning 5-0. So they didn't really need those insurance runs, but it was certainly nice to have. But Max Meyer, that's what gave this team a chance to win. The Marlins only put up 2 runs until the 9th inning. I've said before, this team is not going to score a lot. it's going to have to depend on the pitching. That's going to come up in the next segment, this formula for winning that's quickly being established. But Meyer was the dude today. There was no doubt about it. From the start, he looked comfortable, he looked composed, and he was on attack mode. He himself said that he's being the offense now. He's not playing defense, he's being the attacker. He's going after these batters from the jump. There's no more sitting back and waiting for damage to happen. The confidence you see from Meyer is unparalleled to what it was last year. He's completely revamped his arsenal. I've talked about how he has changed the changeup shape. The changeup is a legit pitch. It's going to get swings and misses. It's going to get outs. You pair that with the slider, which is an elite pitch. That's what got him drafted 3rd overall. The increased velocity on the fastball. He's the total package. And he's somebody that the Marlins can look at and say, behind Sandy Alcantara, here is a homegrown guy. Now, I know Sandy came over from St. Louis, but he's as close to being a homegrown Marlin as there is. Max Meyer is still super, super young. There is no reason why Meyer can't eventually take over and be the ace of the Marlins pitching staff if they end up trading Sandy Alcantara down the road. That's how much I believe in him. That's how much I see the hard work that he did in the offseason, and it's all paying off. It's only been 3 starts. I get that. But it's a night and day different type of pitcher to what I saw last year. Meyer is the real deal. Everybody believed that. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, Jonah Bride, I want to shout out Jonah Bride. He really needed that base hit in the 9th inning. It's just had a really rough day, struck out 3 times, and it takes a toll on a hitter's confidence when you're up there and it's just not going your way. So even in the 9th inning, you get that base hit, really nice piece of hitting opposite field. You drive in a run. You feel like you're doing something productive, and you're back in the box score with an RBI next to your name. I really hope that continues for him moving forward, because it's not panic time yet for him. That was the type of hitter he was last season. And to have a rough start and to hopefully snap out of it, that would be great for the Marlins moving forward. Matt Mervis as well, 2-run home run. He drove in 3, had a couple of hits, got to feel really good for him. And suddenly his average is up to 276, his OPS 899. So although the strikeouts are still a problem, if he can cut down on those as the season continues, and he can put more contact, get a few more base hits, to go with that power, the Marlins could have something there. I know I've been hesitant to get on board the Mervis train right now, and I'm still not all the way there yet. I want to see this type of play more consistently, but it's been a great last few games for him. Back to the Atlanta series, in which he had a 2-home run game. Another home run today against Edwin Diaz, which is no easy pitcher to face off against. So really a jolt of confidence for both him and Jonah Bride. You absolutely love to see it. And dare I say, the defense for the Marlins was just awesome. You look at Dane Myers in center field, how he ended the ball game, making a catch, face planting against the wall in center field that ended the game and preserved the shutout. It was an awesome play, especially to close the book on this series and get out of New York with the shutout. More about that defense coming up in the next segment. I'm going to tell you why defense and pitching is the formula for winning ball games when it comes to the 2025 Miami Marlins. Our friends from Just Ingredients say when it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. That's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine, all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients has also partnered with two-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. Personally, I absolutely love the Just Ingredients protein powder. I have the chocolate flavor. It's perfect if I wake up in the morning and just want a protein shake to start my day, or I come back from the gym, I take my shaker bottle, put a scoop of protein powder in there with a glass of milk, mix it all up, and it tastes really good. It's got a unique flavor, not too sweet, not too tart. It's just right. It's got wholesome, nourishing ingredients without the artificial junk. It doesn't taste fake. So, whether you're recovering after a workout like I do, or you just need an energy boost, maybe in the morning, the grass-fed whey protein and pre-workout deliver real results. So if you want to try some for yourself, visit justingredients.us and use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off. And for more wellness tips, follow at just.ingredients on Instagram. If you're an everyday listener, I do appreciate you, as always, being a part of the Locked On Marlins crew. And if this is your first time checking us out here on Locked On Marlins, hit subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment down in the comment section, and don't forget to turn those notifications on. If you're listening to Apple or Spotify, leave that 5-star rating for me. And join us every single Monday through Friday here on the show, talking about the formula for winning. Why does defense and pitching have so much importance for the Marlins in 2025? The outfield defense for the Marlins so far has been nothing short of spectacular. They are making the eye-popping, highlight reel, Sports Center top 10-esque plays seemingly every single game now. You have 3 potential catch of the year candidates from Marlins outfielders alone. I think of the Griffin Conine home run robbery catch a couple series ago, I think against the Pirates. You had the Derek Hill flying Superman right on the warning track 2 games ago, albeit it was in a loss, but it was a terrific catch. You have this Dane Meyer to seal the game, Dane called game, leaping catch at the wall, face plants against the padding out there in center field to seal the deal. That outfield defense is legit. You got guys that can throw. Conine has a cannon. Dane Myers is a former pitcher. He has an absolute gun out there in whether he's playing right field or center field. They're versatile. They can play different positions. Kyle Stowers, he made a really good catch earlier this season. This outfield has been really good. And you look at it from last season over the course of 2024, again, it's night and day different. This team has improved defensively when it comes to the outfield. They're going to need that. They're also going to need a more consistent performance for the Marlins defensively on the infield. We know what Otto Lopez brings, but third base is a question mark right now, and it's going to be a question mark when Connor Norby comes back. How does Connor Norby respond to an entire season when he's healthy playing the hot corner? Can he show improvement from last season? He worked hard on it all off season and all during spring training. He's got to be really good at that position. Shortstop's still a question. First base is still a question. But the outfield defense is crucial. And defense is so important for this team because overall, the Marlins are going to rely on pitching in order to get wins. In the runs that the games that they've won to start the season, right? So they've gone 6-6. The 6 wins that they've had, opponents have averaged 5.3 hits per game. So the pitching staff is doing their job. And they've given up 4 runs, 4 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, and have 2 shutouts. So the formula for winning starts and ends with pitching, and it has to be aided with good defense and timely hitting. Timely hitting, who's going to get a base hit when there's runners in scoring position? You get runners, you get traffic on the bases. Who's going to get that 2-out hit? That has to be a crucial part of this as well. Who's going to provide the power? Maybe it's Matt Mervis. And these 3 home runs that we've seen over the last 3 or 4 games, that continues. And he's going to continue being that power threat that the Marlins hoped they had when they brought him in. But the pitching staff, you get an outing like you did today with Max Meyer, you're going to put yourself in a position to win the game. Starts and ends with pitching. You were up 2-0. The bullpen was getting some work there in the 7th. Anthony Bender. You had Lake Bacher get the 9th. Those guys have got to be nails. The bullpen has got to do their job every single game if the starters only give you 5 or 6 innings. That's why I absolutely love to see when starters give you more than that, and Clayton kind of is a bit lenient on pitch count and innings limits and whatnot, and he just lets his guys pitch. Like Meyer. Meyer has been the innings eater so far. He's pitched 6 innings. He's averaged 6 innings a start so far, and it's something really important for the Marlins and their pitching staff, because that's given when you have a pitcher who's being that efficient through 5, 6, 7 innings, it only gives the Mets, the Braves, your opponent, a couple more opportunities to come back. You jump to an early lead, you're shut down in the pitching rotation. There you go. So limiting the hits, limiting the walks, that's what has to happen in order for the Marlins to win games. How long does this continue? Can the Marlins find a consistent formula to continue winning games for the foreseeable future? Because, as I said in yesterday's podcast, sometimes they're just going to get outslugged. Sometimes they're just going to get out-talented, if you will, especially offensively. Well, rotation-wise, you always have a chance when you have Sandy Alcantara. And number 2, with Max Meyer, it's looking like you're always going to have a chance when he's on the mound because he's pitched great. Ryan Weathers is on his way back. He had a terrific spring. That could be 3 really good starters who are giving you quality start after quality start almost every time they take the mound. Behind them, Cal Quantrill. Can he be the innings eater? Can you play consistent defense in the back end? I said it comes down to the infield because the outfield has been great, but you're going to need to see more consistent defense from Xavier Edwards and whoever is manning third base to go with that pitching staff. Because I like what I see. I like what I see when it comes to the young arms. The one thing that I'm still trying to figure out, and this goes back to Clayton McCullough and the whole decision making, I don't know how he feels about handling a bullpen yet. I still think he's getting his feet wet in the water and trying to figure out what is the best role for each of these pitchers. It just doesn't seem like there's really any rhyme or reason to these guys having a set role. And maybe there won't be. And maybe he's just going to play the data and the matchups consistently throughout the season. But for example, I think Anthony Bender should be the closer. I think he is a veteran of the group. He has closing experience, a lot like Calvin Fauché. He's pitched better than Calvin Fauché to start the season. But he was the first guy out of the pen in today's win. It was Max Meyer, and then Bender takes over and goes an inning and 2/3. It doesn't really make sense when you look at it from a traditional mindset of, okay, we have a setup man, we have an 8th inning guy, we got the closer. The Marlins just don't have those roles right now. And I'd like to see it become like that and have some order to the bullpen as we move further in the season. Coming up next, I'm going to talk more about a couple pitchers who aren't on the major league team right now, but who could be contributing very soon. Take a look at the farm system, who is standing out on these Marlin minor league affiliate teams. That's coming up right after this. And this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. You will love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking your favorite team or diving into player props. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. After the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Now, I know personally for me, when it comes to sports betting, every so often I like throwing a little bit of money down on the UFC bets. FanDuel's perfect for that because they have the method of victory. If I think this weekend, Volkanovski is going to knock out Diego Lopez, I can put some money on that. If I think Lopez is going to knock out Volk, I can put some money on that. So it goes back to the prop bets. FanDuel has that. They have those parlays. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Quick reminder that Friday is the mailbag episode. Hit me up with any questions or comments throughout the week, and I'll answer them on Friday's show. Down on the farm system, what do we have here? The farm system for the Marlins is something that every Marlin fan should be paying attention to. First off, it is the next wave of talent that is going to be up in Miami. That is what Peter Bendix is building toward. He's trying to strengthen the farm. And these players, there's some clear pieces here that are talented, and a couple of them, I think, are ready to contribute right now. Let's start with the pitching staff. At first pitcher, Janson Junk. I'm going to talk about Janson Junk first because Junk has been nothing short of terrific to start the season. So the Marlins played the Mets at a 110 game, but around the same time, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp were playing the AAA team from Charlotte. I don't know their mascot. As Michael Scott says, sue me. But Junk was the starter, and he was awesome. 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, didn't walk anyone, just gave up a single hit. He's dominating AAA hitters right now. His first 3 starts, a 1.80 ERA through 15 innings. He's only given up 8 hits, struck out 20 batters, and here is the best part, in my opinion, only 1 walk. Only 1 walk to 20 strikeouts. That K to walk ratio is elite right now. And Janson Junk feels like a guy who shouldn't be in AAA much longer. I think he can really contribute to this team, if not as the 5th starter and replace Valente Belloso, as somebody that can pitch out of the pen, and his stuff is going to play that much further. Because, when you're a starting pitcher, you're going to have to scale back the velocity a little bit in order to pitch deeper into games. It's just an idea, but if you want to see Junk up here, you could put him as the starter or in the bullpen because he feels like he could be somebody who gets a late inning role. And the Marlins are still trying to figure out who is worthy of getting a late inning role, high leverage situation. They've dealt with a few injuries already. Declan Cronin, Andrew Nardi, Jesus Tinoco, those high leverage relievers. And if nobody's stepping up, then Janson Junk, his stuff is so good, he could come up and be a really good option out of the pen because he's so good right now in AAA. He needs to be called up soon. What a name. I always say this, but what a name, Janson Junk. They can't hit the junk. Junk is throwing junk, and they can't hit it down in AAA. I absolutely love it. Personally, if I'm the Marlins, I'm calling him up to be a starter at first. And once Ryan Weathers comes back, once Edward Cabrera comes back, then you have a decision to make depending how his first 2 or 3 outings go. But I just feel like he's wasting in AAA right now, wasting away. There's more that Janson Junk can offer the big league team and be beneficial to these guys right now. Really loved seeing that outing from Junk. The other pitcher I wanted to mention is Adam Meyer. Meyer pitched really well. He's somebody who has major league experience, has a couple starts down in AAA. His slider's really good. He's got a really good slider, generates a ton of whiffs. Mazier's another name to consider a call up to start. Now he's an absolute starter. He's not going to pitch out of the pen, but at some point, Meyer will be in a Marlins uniform, towing the rubber at Lone Depot Park and going 5 or 6 innings. I can guarantee that. It's just a matter of when. On the hitting side, down on the farm, shout out Max Acosta. Max Acosta's off to a really good start down in AAA. Through 11 games, he's hitting .318, slugging .409. So the power, he's only got a home run, only got a double. I expect a ton of more extra base hits. That's going to come with time. What I really want to point out is he's playing really good defense. That translates back to his time during spring training in the Grapefruit League and in big league camp. And he's also making a lot of contact. He's getting base hits. So although the power is sort of a question, how consistent is the power going to be? The fact that right now he's seen the ball really good, hitting over 300, it's a great sign. Agustin Ramirez, I mean, where to even begin with him? He could be starting right now. He could be the DH right now or a first baseman. They want to give him as much time to continue being a catcher as possible, but for a team that offensively I think really needs a spark plug, Agustin Ramirez can be that guy. There was this swing I saw from today's game in which it was an outside fastball right on the black. You look at the game tracker, it's right on the corner, on the outside part of the plate. And he just reaches out and kind of with a one-arm follow-through, muscles it out on a 19-degree launch angle. So a really flat line drive and just goes 350 feet over the fence. That's just pure strength. That is a line drive home run at over 100 miles an hour. I think it was like at 102, 103. I mean, the kid is just a stud with the bat in his hands. He's going to be a spark plug when he gets called up. It's inevitable. When he gets called up is the question. The Marlins farm is exciting. You look at a lot of these guys like Acosta, Ramirez, Davison De Los Santos. He still hasn't hit a home run. I'm still waiting for him to get going. But, there are a lot of guys, a lot of talented players in the system who are only going to continue their development and only going to continue to get better. Now, the Marlins have built this philosophy, a team-wide, around defense, speed, and they want hitters who can play multiple positions. So versatility. Down lower in the system, I think in Jupiter, you have somebody, it's a lower level league. So you're going to have a lot of mistakes, and that's okay. It's just part of baseball. But somebody like Dylan Head, who's extremely fast, who can get extra base hits, turn a double into a triple, steal a base when he gets on. You have Starlin Caba, who you acquired via the Jesus Luzardo trade. Although I love Caba as a prospect, I just don't think trading Jesus Luzardo was the smartest decision at that point. But that's a conversation for another time. But Dylan Head, a little bit about him before we get out of here. He gets acquired from the Padres in the Luis Arias trade. And the big question is his health and his ability to make contact with the ball, because the speed is going to play. The speed is going to make him a really good center fielder. The speed is going to make him an absolute demon on the base paths. Just get on base. Right now he's hitting .286. So the contact is there. He already has 6 hits on the year with 2 triples. I mean, like, Dylan Head can be an absolute weapon, and it's still very low. Low A baseball, there's still plenty of time to move up in the ranks, but keep an eye on Dylan Head. I know at the time, Luis Arias, I was upset that he was traded, but if Head can turn into a productive big leaguer and play good defense, he fits the mold of what a Bendix prospect looks like. Efficient baseball. Get on base, make things happen. This team is going to be exciting to watch, not just the Marlins, but also the minor league affiliates. So be sure that you keep in tabs with the teams, watch the highlights or watch the games when you get a chance. That's going to do it for today's edition of Locked On Marlins. For your second listen of the day, check out Locked On Game Night. And until then, guys, stay safe, stay locked on, and let's go fish.